Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
Good, everybody.
Back to talk the amazing race. This is episode 2. Very strong warrior energy. Make sure you like and subscribe here, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of your amazing race 37 coverage, all of your previous seasons. I don't know how many we've got at this point, Brian, right? 4 maybe? Something like that. 3 or 4 on
Yeah,
this
we did.
channel specifically.
Yeah, we did season one
Yep.
retro, and then we did I think like 33.
So from 33
I
on.
think 33 or 34. I think we started.
That's not
Holderness
bad.
was
It's a
the
good
Holderness the
handful.
first group?
But
Wasn't the Holderness ep season the first time we did it?
Holderness was the first or second season that we did.
So
So
right
either
around.
way, we've been there from the beginning. Go check us.
You're right.
But we could look at our playlist right now, but that means I'd have to open another screen, and I'm not doing that, Brian. Uh, Week 2, everybody, we started off. If you're first time joining us, we do this recap style. So if you want to hear about the end of the episode, jump to the end, hear about certain challenges, jump around. But we're starting here at the top, Brian. We are still in Hong Kong. The route info, though, let them know that they were going to be traveling to Osaka, Japan, as they mentioned, a technology and history rich city. Never been myself. Looks really cool. We also are, Brian, in our first sponsored episode of the week with our Expedia-esque episode. Expedia app, Brian. Thank you, Phil. I'm curious how many travelers really use the Expedia app.
I mean, the reward I thought was pretty good.
The reward was pretty cool. I
Mhm.
mean, we'll get to that obviously, but pretty cool. Also, the intersection is going to come into play this leg, Brian. I don't remember. Did we ever have intersections in
No, we
any of
didn't have an
the we
intersection on
covered?
none of them.
So yeah, so Logan, let us know intersections. Like that's pretty cool. I don't know anything about them. Obviously now I know they are basically like a tag team wrestling match, kind of a forced kind of a
Allegiance.
yeah, kind of unlikely alliances sometimes. There's been plenty of those in WWF history too as well. So okay, so the intersection will come into play. They have to go to the, I love this. They have to go to the travel agency, Brian, at the Crocodile Center, the 13th floor of the Crocodile Center. But somehow that was confusing to some of the taxi drivers because they did not end up bringing them to the actual right branch of them. Some teams got brought to Kwantong, Brian, instead of Sheng Wang. Now, if you Kwantong when you're supposed to Sheng Wang, you're going to have a bad time. And that happened to some of our teams, like Nick and Mike, Courtney and Jasmine, Bernie and Carrigan. I do love a good old travel mix up early on in the Amazing Race.
Shocked we didn't get like an alligator center joke. Like, oh, we should have went to the crocodile, but we went to alligator. Like that's a terrible
They got, listen,
joke.
Brian, I giggled. It
Yeah, I
got,
mean, like I'm shocked that like what were the couples you said that messed up again?
I saw Nick and Mike on there. I saw Courtney and Jasmine, Bernie and Carrigan.
Like if Scott and Lori did it, that would come out of Scott's mouth being a dad of 1,000.
Listen, Scott was like it all. Like I love Scott did great this
He had
episode.
a glow up when they showed the old pictures of him. He did not look good when he was young. He looks
Were they
way better now.
showing him like at the missionary or
Yeah.
wherever he was? Yeah,
He
yeah,
looks way better now, man. And they did it. They had a great leg.
yeah. Great leg, great leg. Listen, the conversion center would have worked well for him too. You never know. So, um, we let's see there's multiple flights now. Look, like so far now the first flight arrives at 6:05. Second flight's arriving at 6:35. There wasn't really a ton of stakes so far with the flights. I am looking forward to hopefully later on in the season where the flights actually make a difference.
So I thought it was 6:30 and 7:55, but the one group went to a connecting flight for 6:05.
They did. So I have the flight breakdowns of who was on which flight here.
Dude, to me, like taking a connector for an extra 20 minutes does not seem worth it to me, especially in another country.
No.
That was risky.
That first flight, the direct one you're talking about, Brian, Carson and Jack, Brett and Mark, Ernest and Bridget. I also noted here, I do appreciate the graphics. I think the Amazing Race should keep like a running ticker on the bottom, like a horse race. I want to know who's
Well,
in first at all times.
well, here's the thing. If we couldn't find a Mario Kart reference, but I got a Mario Kart reference. Remember in the old one, you could like hit select and you can have the people, and they used to do it on at Pod Racers N64, where
Yeah,
the people are moving along the corners of the map.
you could show
Like
them. Yeah.
that. That's what they should have. That would actually be kind of sweet, actually. Like their little faces just kind of bouncing up and down.
Yeah, listen, this is what we've been doing this season, Brian. We're doing N64 reference of the week. I gave you Star Fox last week. I think that's where we're going here. It's variety, Brian. It's season 37. Throwing all the kitchen sink in, right? Frankly, it also allows our old man brains to have more things to pull from.
But again, we've how many? You said we did like 3 or 4 seasons. I don't know how many more things we can pull
No,
because
we
it's
will. I'm
talented.
not saying there won't be any Mario Party
No, but
references.
I mean, it's just like
We're
there's
just
only
expanding a
like
little bit
how many times can you use Mario Bandstand?
until you get good at it.
Yeah, you weren't good at it.
Um,
Look at that.
the only thing that happened here is we did also get the episode title kind of topic here. Bernie and Carrigan were not about that life. They were the Brian of the situation. They did not feel like dealing with going through the connecting flight. Instead, they just wanted to argue in the terminal and just sit there at the gate and fight. That's where we got the quote where she mentioned having strong warrior energy. I also hate Brian when my strong warrior energy overflows.
This is my second favorite team, so I'm glad they pull through because I like them.
Um,
The name Kerrigan's kind of cool.
that's a great name. You kidding me? Cool.
Yeah,
Also,
but still
the
pops.
The name pops, Brian. The next route info is at the Namba Hatch. This is where we hit the intersection, right? So this is where you're going to team up with another a person from each team is going to pair up to complete the challenge. You have to mutually agree on all decisions. As I mentioned, I'd never seen one of these, so I was looking forward to it. Han and Holden were actually the first to arrive. Brett and Mark were second, so they teamed up. We had Ernest and Mike as a pair. I'll just run down the pairs really quick. Ernest and Mike, Jack and Jonathan, Alyssa and Mike, Courtney and Jeff, Eric and Holden, Bernie and Scott. The Expedia experience intersection was who's ready to beat the competition. These are the taiko drummers, the big drums with
Yeah.
the giant sticks. This has been something that's been around, they said 12,000 years. Newly formed pairs need to memorize another routine. And I got to put something out here, Brian. When did the Amazing Race become just like glorified rock band or Dance Dance Revolution? Like 2 weeks in a row. Spread it out, guys.
I get what you're saying, but I really like this one. I thought this one was sweet.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. But it was good. But like, I didn't need it stacked with the ones from last.
No, that's very, very fair. I just thought the just like the like just everything about this one was cool. Like you're doing it, and then some two dudes just jump on a big bear drum and straddle it and just like bang, 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 bang. So
They're also
and
using swords.
the judge, I thought the judge was really good too. Like, was it the Ernest one where they like did the might not have been that, but they did like the huddle and like
The reveal. You mean when they were like,
you could see that the yeah he
ah.
took you can see that he took it from underneath. Like when it, like if you're watching it, but they probably couldn't see it. But like as a viewer, you can see him like he took the yellow envelope. But I love that. I thought that was good. That's what we want. I want my judges to be.
Well, we had other good ones, but we get down a little bit
Oh,
more.
well, the sumo guy was really good.
The sumo guy is good. We also had the mochi balls that had to be made to the satisfaction of the mochi master. So,
And he's
there's a
like
good.
just like fingering your mochi.
You had to satisfy the mochi master. You had to pound, as Jeff, as Phil said, you had to pound them out, pound out them. We'll get to the mochi balls. You had to
Did you
pound
see
them out.
when Phil was like introducing the drum segment, like the guy like did the thing back and like Phil does like the Matrix, like the dodge back. I was like, this is. I was like, and like the other thing I really liked about, I know I'm just like not stop talking. Everyone who came out of that was like, oh, I really enjoyed that. That's how like I knew it looked really cool. Like people like that must have been so satisfying to also like accomplish, especially like some of them did on their first try. Shout out to
Oh yeah,
Scott.
yep, yep. I like them so far. I mean, yeah, you mentioned Bernie and Scott. They come from literally last place to get it in one attempt. A huge,
Yeah.
wild swing. You can then contradict that with Ernest and Mike. Ernest and Mike. It was something like it was like 18
I
attempts.
think it was Mark.
Ernest and Mark, excuse
Yeah,
me,
Mark.
Ernest and
Like the
Mark.
same letters.
It auto corrected
Yeah,
my notes.
I'm pretty sure it's Mark.
Um, dude, you feel for people at that point, man. It's just
Yeah.
so brutal because obviously too with this intersection thing, and not that you owe any other teams anything, but you're torpedoing another team. Now, early on in a race is the only time really where this wouldn't isn't brutally devastating, right? But it's still disheartening to have to drag another team down with
Oh
you.
yeah, 100%. I think Brett and Mark will be okay though, because they seem pretty good. Like, yeah, that was definitely that was tough to watch, like to be there and like I had so many funny shots of Brett like in the shadows, like with his head down. I thought that was really good. That was good editing. That was really fun. Every time somebody got like through, they're like, "Hey, here's the thing," and he's just in the background. He's like, "That was good."
The next route info brought them to the Tauntaun Bori Bridge, Brian. This is where they hit the detour, right? So this was Mochi or Mawashi. Mochi is pulverizing steamed rice into a sticky dough with a big ass mallet. You need the pound. This sentence is literally from the show. You need to pound out 12 mochi balls to the satisfaction of the mochi master. A few teams decided to do that. Pops and Jeff, Courtney and Jasmine, Melinda and Erica. Turned out actually to be a pretty quick one because they all jumped in to be five, six, seven, which really surprised me. Mostly everyone else, I mean, everyone else chose to go with Mawashi and
Mhm.
just basically do the sumo diapers with the canvas. Your instinct, Brian, would you have done the canvas, you think?
I think so.
I think I would have too, and but it seems like they overestimated how hard the mochi pulverizing would be.
Yeah, because I just thought that like you would have really had to beat on that rice,
Hmm.
and it didn't look
Pound
like
it.
you really needed to because it didn't look like the was it Melinda and Erica, or they're the mother daughter group, right? They were not hitting that rice hard. She was like hitting them out like this, like Jeff was just like bang, like he was like slamming it down, and they're just kind of doing like little baby taps.
Jeff's a literal lumberjack.
Yeah, they
Great challenge for
it looked
him.
like a well-oiled machine there. He was like, it was just like boom, boom.
I mean, a perfect
But
challenge.
hey, I like all of these challenges look really fun. Like that's why I was really liked the episode. Like I would have liked to participate in any of these.
Yeah, so far, like the first 2 weeks, they have been like fun challenges. Like I haven't rolled my eyes so far at them. Like, oh God, like is this really what they're doing? Like,
Yeah, not
I,
until we turn over 1,000 rocks or look at 1,000 pictures for the difference. We'll get that soon, I'm sure.
no, no, we will get there. But there is, though, funny enough, we're talking about it. You're talking about like splitting logs. There is a Mario Party mini game called Loggerheads. Mario Party 9. You put the log down, the person splits it. You talk about well-oiled lumberjacking machine. So a little bit of a side reference there, just so if there are any purists out there who demand their tribute, they just got it. Um, Okay, let me go back before because I'm going to lose my spot. Okay, cool. So we talked about that. Scott and Lori again. They did theirs in 2 attempts at the Mawashi. Again, a great leg, like you mentioned, Brian. Really, really improving their standing in the race from week one to week two. Uh, the final two, yeah, really, as far as who's going to make it and who's going to be eliminated, Brian comes down to who. Um,
It was Han and Holden and Ernest
Bridget
and
and
Bridget.
Ernest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, both of who they have like, obviously Bridget and Ernest, Ernest having that catastrophic, detour,
Yeah.
uh, not detour,
Uh,
the
intersection.
catastrophic, Expedia experience intersection. I want to make sure
Mhm.
I get our product plug in here, Brian. I mean, not saying like anyone does like you want someone to, but I feel like they did deserve to lose
Yeah,
the.
based off what happened. Like, and like Han and Holden, they were having like direction issues or like cab issues or something.
They were just everything was just not everything it seemed like they were missing everything by like 5 seconds and some general frustration and again we're in a position early on in the race where it's not going to be completely punishing, but they definitely do need to kind of get their stuff together.
Right.
Uh, as far as the pit stop, do you have the name of the pit stop?
I don't. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I have the pit stop down. Following order here, Brian. Jonathan and Anna trip for two to Kilimanjaro. Pretty wild.
10 day. It was like a 10 day like safari hike,
Dude, wild, right? Pretty cool.
and like bringing your kids. They're like, oh, bring our kids. I was like, oh boy,
Yeah,
limiting.
good luck with that, brother. Like, jeez, amateur hour. Uh, Scott and Lori, second. Alyssa and Josiah, third. And Carson and Jack, fourth. Melinda and Erica, fifth. Courtney and Jasmine, sixth. Pops and Jeff, seven. Bernie and Carrigan, eight. Brett and Mark, nine. Nick and Mike, 10. And Han and Holden taking the final spot at 11. So, Brian, 11 teams still continuing the race around the world. I think I've thought so far two great episodes. Really enjoyed tonight's,
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was really good. Again, I just wish the show was on at 8 and Survivor was on 9:30.
so that we could not have to do it like 2 days later or a
Yeah,
day later. It's a
sucks.
pain.
Sucks, man. 'Cause it's good.
Trust us,
I'm enjoying
people.
it. I like I like the teams.
Trust us, people. We missed dropping those reviews on Thursday morning for everybody.
I am
We
not
took
standing for
pride
it.
in being like the first ones out, but you can scream at CBS like it's BS having to have the show start so late. It's just not right. Just not right.
I can't stay. I just I can't. I want
Especially
to.
with the tariffs, Brian. It's just not right. It's not right. Make sure you like and subscribe here, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of our amazing race coverage, all our Survivor coverage, our Traders coverage, any of those reality TV competition shows you may be into, hit the notification bell. Go check them out. There's something for you. But until next week, for myself and Brian, we really appreciate everybody watching. Peace.